All right, everybody. Welcome to the first live edition of MMA Underground Weekly. I'm here with my co-host, Buddy V, our other co-host, Matt. Guys. Technical difficulties right off the bat. Sorry, guys. First live show. I think we'll get it under control. We're Britless today because Maddie came down with COVID. So Buddy V and I will be steering the ship, and we're going to be talking about some street beef scrapyard.
Heck yeah!
We're going to be talking some Bellator 273. And right away, I'm going to bring him in. We got a guest for you today to talk about his fight at Bellator 273, Josh Wright.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Wonderful. How about yourself?
Oh, doing good.
How are you doing, man? Thank you so much for giving some of your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, things have been really awesome. As soon as this, offer came across our way, I've been able to really stay home and get things done as far as, sponsorships, working on, my marketing, getting pretty much my presence out there, training, everything, getting all the ducks in a row. It's actually finally feeling like this is my full-time job now. So
nice. Heck yeah.
So I'm going to start with a personal question before we get into the fighting stuff, and it's Montana personal. And I know everybody now that watches Yellowstone thinks they know Montana, but right. I know a guy from Montana who once told me people are different in Montana, and if there is a Montana way of doing things, and he said, we will embrace if you move here, but just remember, you're moving to Montana, we're not moving by you. What is kind of that Montana way of doing things? Like, I saw a post today where you said on your social media it was great to be around Montana men, so that's what made me think of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Over here we have a harder way of life, just it's, especially during the winter, whatever from transportation, your commute, just at your whole daily life can change, being in the weather of Montana sometimes. And what that is, people can come here to either enjoy all the beauty we have in the summer, all the cool camping, hiking, all the stuff that there is to do. But when it's time to live here and it's time to buckle down, it gets a little rough. We expect hard work all the time. We're blue collar down here, so there's not any handouts. It's you earn your salt and you go home and take that to your family.
The way it should be.
Yeah, the Montana way. We're rough and tough, man.
I saw one of the interviews you had on
a
magazine or online. You're talking about how you like to show people that exactly that. Oh, from Montana, we don't have to go running our mouth. We don't have to do anything. We work. We come. We get the job done. When I come to fight.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. I think he's saying that you're muted there. I can hear you though.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, then he can ask the question, and I'll try to figure it out.
Okay.
You can answer. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah. That's the image I'm going to bring, to the biggest stages, in MMA is you just don't see that a whole lot. And especially that I'm going to be able to pull off staying here and living and training in Montana. I don't need no big fancy gym. It would be nice to have a room full of killers every day, but I got killers in Montana, that I train with on a daily basis, and we're all sharpening each other up. And it really comes down to yourself and just how hard you want to train and how far are you willing to take to make sure that you get the right amount and the accuracy of a good training camp in. That I had no problem with that here. I have my support system. I have my coaches, my trainers, my teammates, myself, and what I know. We get down to business, and I'll be in shape and ready for anybody.
Heck yeah.
All right, yeah. So tell me if I'm wrong. You seem like you're more of a heavy-handed ground and pound guy. Do you have a wrestling background, or what is your fighting style?
Yeah, wrestler. I've been a wrestler ever since elementary, and always Montana wrestling too, and my wrestling coach, he's, lives out in small town Superior, Montana. He is has a pretty big piece of property, has horses and things like that he has to take care of, and he just taught me at an early age what it is to want something and know what it's going to cost to get it. So, that's just where I had good roots here. Had a good roots.
I think I saw with Anthony Curtis when you were on top. The ref had to stop it because you were just working him, and then you guys saw you with some of those hammer fists at the end, right to the side, and boom.
Yeah, no, he was. We were talking about that after the fight. He said like I ended up knocking him out, and then I woke up, knocked him back into consciousness. He's like, I woke up and you were hitting me, and you were getting pulled off of me, and I was like, no, it's over. So no, he's also a really good guy too, and I mean he'll fight any chance he can get. Like that dude, I think he actually went and had a boxing match either the weekend after me or the weekend before me. So I mean he just goes in there and gets after it. So he's a cool dude too. But yeah, ground and pound, that's my style until I had that bare knuckle fight. The game has changed for me now. I mean, that like opened and freed a part of me that I needed to be unleashed in my MMA game. So now I'll go and smash on the ground, but I'm looking to take you out up top, like standing first off. Like my boxing's always been a lot better than what I've led on to be in MMA. And then I got a chance to somewhat show that in the bare knuckle stage. And then coming back to MMA, like I have a reimagined and refocused outlook on how my MMA game is going to be. Going to be violent.
Out of curiosity, do you feel like it'll be easier to go back to MMA after being in that bare knuckle? Because padded gloves feel a lot nicer than bare knuckles.
Yeah, no, see, and that's what the freeing part of me was talking about was like I've stripped it down to the bones. So now it's and I've taken some of the biggest shots from some of the best. Tom Schoaf, like that's an awesome guy. I think he's one of my favorite bare knuckle fighters. Probably definitely one of the top three in that 55-pound division, in my opinion. And I took heavy shots from him, so that just told me like I know I could take shots, but to take bare knuckle shots, I'm gonna walk into MMA like these are pillows, I'm just like, all right, let's get after it, because I know what I can take, and I've always had really good head movement, so it's not going to be a problem, and I'll take licks. That doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, it seems like you're willing to fight anywhere, because right now you're the champion of Fusion Fight League, and you're taking bare knuckle fights if you get them. Right now you're getting ready for your fight at Bellator 273. You were telling me and Buddy a little earlier that all goes well, you're hoping for a title defense coming up too in Fusion.
Yeah, I'd like to defend that in February if they're still wanting to put that together. I know once they found out I had this fight for Bellator, I'm not sure, if they think I'm going to be able to do that or not. But if I'm available for it, then I'm going to do that for sure. I would hate to vacate that title after winning it. I worked so hard for that, up to that, and every next fight is my biggest fight. So I'm just excited to take all these opportunities. That's what I told myself a while back, is like, don't skip any opportunities. You say yes, and unless you truly don't believe it in your heart that it's not right. But as far as like what I'm willing to do in a short amount of time and where my spirit's at, no, I don't really say no to much at all.
Right, that's the way of the fighter, huh? Some people are born with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So after you take all these fights, I mean, it shows that you'll fight anywhere, anytime. Does that have do you think that has a lot to do with the team you train with?
As far as no, I mean, my team's always, down.
Was that my end? Oh. Are you good? Or is that me? Or
can you hear anybody? Because I think we just went dark. Can you guys hear anybody?
I hear you now.
Okay, I hear you now too. How about you, Josh? Sorry.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I think we lost Josh, though. I think that was what the technical difficulty was, is we had a bad connection. He can log back in. We'll get him back on. It's sometimes you know how the internet connection goes.
Right. All it takes is a couple trees in the way and a little bit of wind to mess up your Wi-Fi.
Think he's back.
Can you hear me, everybody?
Bam! All right.
Yes, sir.
Whoa, everybody's talking in slow-mo like that part on Old School when he got shot with the tranquilizer. Seriously,
it was weird.
Yeah, your laugh like,
it went completely dead for me.
Trying to work
okay, I got a bit lag. I'm back. I'm good now. All right.
Well, live broadcasting, guys. First show, having issues. Let's just get them worked out all the way through. Well, Josh, I'm just going to continue where I left off and ask you: Are you still with Dog Pound Fight Team?
Yeah, no, yeah. Hold on, I'm having a hard time hearing you with the slow mode voice here. I'm trying to refresh things here. Hold on one sec.
Okay. No problem. Do your thing, and I'll bring you back in. All right, buddy. Here's what we're going to do while we're waiting for him to get reconnected, because we all got to just move with what's happening on live stream.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this fight card that he's going to be on, though. This Bellator 273, man. There are some straight killers on this card. I mean, it's being headlined by Ryan Bader versus Molosky, who he fights for Team Fedor. He's another heavy-handed, tough guy, but Bader just lost his heavyweight or his light heavyweight belt, so he needs to hold on to this one.
Gotta put that work in. Heck yeah. And I was, and he's such a killer as it is, and I'm expected because what? Ryan Bader, he beat Lyoto Machida, and then he ended up, his last fight was a loss. So I'm really expecting him to come out ready to go, guns blazing. Like you said, headliner. And there's killers because some of the cards too, some of the guys and girls underneath. I mean, they've got killer records. Some of the people they train with, they have so much knowledge. They're so powerful. They have, records and names behind them. I'm curious to see how this is going to go.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I think that I like Ryan Bader, and I'll be cheering for him in this. But depending where the betting line is, man, if he's not the favorite, I mean, I might ride on the underdog for Bader to lose.
I might have to throw some money on that one real quick. It never hurts to make a little extra money.
All right.
Shoot, that was
it looks like we have
I had a lot of friends lose money during that Nunez fight when she lost. I had like so many people. F this, F that.
If anybody took that underdog, it was plus 1,000.
I wish I would have been in Vegas for that. Woo!
Josh is back. Let's bring him in, see how this goes.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, and I can hear you guys.
All right. Smooth as warm butter.
All right. Well, let's just get into your opponent here for the Bellator 273. You got Alameda, the silverback. He seems like a tough guy. I've checked out some of his fights, but the one thing that I wondered if you think matters at all is the size of the stage he's been fighting at for his last few fights.
I mean, he could feel as relaxed as he wants to in there. But I've always had a natural composure to me ever since my early fights. And then I've always kept it on my mind that was one of the one things I would always continue to work on, would always keep on my mind, is to always become more composed over time. Because if you think about, how my first few fights, don't remember much. Like the adrenaline was so high, you blacked out basically, and then you start fighting more and you remember these bits and pieces. It all starts coming together. And then that's because you're a bit more composed. You stay relaxed and calm in there. You get to do what you've been working on in that practice room. And that's what I very much believe in that. And that's one of my traits is my composure. So it doesn't matter the level I'm at, the stage I'm at. The bigger the stage, the bigger the shine for me. It only motivates me to perform better and to just have so much more fun in there, because you're like, wow, I'm truly blessed to be here right now. Like that's how it's going to be for me. It's just going to be like, yes, this is it, baby. Let's go. So
got 3 times the amount of people watching. Heck yeah.
Yep.
Now I saw that.
And the fact is,
funny enough,
I'm not a fighter. I always joke that I can 90s fight, not 2022 fight. Like when I grew up, you just got in a fist fight, right?
Right.
Buddy would understand that more than me as a fighter with the first fights in the cage and things like that. But I couldn't even imagine walking out and fighting in front of 200 people. So for me, that would just be something. But in the long run, you actually have more fights under your belt, which just as a big MMA fan, to me, might almost give you more of an edge of just having that under your belt.
Yeah, and that's, I have 17 total fights if you include that bare knuckle as well, and I've only lost 3 of them. So, and that they happened early on in my pro career. I've learned so much from all of that, and yeah, so experience is going to be huge for me. I just got to make sure to utilize that experience. You always got to kind of keep yourself on track with that. Like, wow, yeah, I do remember the things that I've been through, the things that I've done. Like, you need to keep that fresh, because if you start forgetting that stuff, you start to not have as much a belief in yourself. Like, oh man, am I ready for this? Or have I been under this kind of test and stress before? And I'm like, I always tell myself, I'm damn straight I have. I've been in all kinds of heated battles, and this is just another day for me as far as the fight in the moment is concerned. I know that the magnitude of the stage and the crowd and everything is a lot bigger, but that's affecting me in a very positive, good way.
Right, use it, feed off it. Yeah,
exactly.
Now, I've seen that your opponent Almeida has had even though he has like 5 professional wins, 3 of them were knockouts. But like I said, with you being in bare knuckle fighting, he's probably not going to knock you out. But anything could happen. Do you feel like he'll be able to go the full round and everything else, like just all the way through, or do you think you'll be able to maybe submit him or something like that? I mean, I know you're not supposed to underestimate your opponent, but I mean,
right. No, I always hope and believe that I'm gonna finish my opponent, and that's my record shows, and by way of that's how it happens, is first round ground and pound stoppage, things like that. So I don't plan it going any different. I'm the best I've ever been, the best shape I've ever been. I'm turning 30 in April, and I'm just hitting the best part of my life, I feel like. So mainly it's all in here. I need to stay well up there and train hard, and I'll be able to put this guy away in any round. I heard he hasn't gone far or all the way. So I think if I was told correctly, he hasn't gone past the second round. So we'll see. I've gone unanimous decisions all the way, fight of the nights, go all the way. So I've been in almost any position in a fight, on the winning side and the losing side of things. So the only thing I haven't been is knocked out cold, and I don't believe that's happening this time.
Yeah, not happening. All right, I could dig that all the way. Heck yeah. Now, do you feel that since you said you're turning 30 in April, that one day when you get old, you might stop fighting when you're like 95, or do you think you'll always fight, just maybe not on a professional level past a certain age?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be either fighting or teaching until I just can't do it no more. That's for sure.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
got
step my
my
game up.
yeah, I got my son's 6, and I'm trying to get ready for him in wrestling. So, and then the town I'm living in, small town, Florence, Montana. It's a beautiful place. I love it. It's in the Bitterroot Valley. They have a junior high position open for the wrestling coach. So I might be doing that if I can actually make this thing work and be able to stay home and not have to go, weld pipe out on the road. So,
Yeah. Dang, there'll be some straight killers taking home state championships.
yeah.
So you say that you weld on the road. So you've had to travel sometimes before, correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cross country, like all the way like into South Carolina and Georgia, Colorado, Washington, Texas. So I mean,
Damn.
and that's just what I've been a part of. I've been working with my dad the last few years. He's a legendary, pipe welder and pipe fitter. He's a supervisor for, a field crew. Anytime he's a part of the job, he's the head guy. And he taught me how to weld and weld pipe, well. So, I just started doing that, and uh, the the road stuff got to me. My kids are little. I grew
Mhm.
up with my dad doing this, but he took the family with him. I grew up in a Nomad pull behind fifth wheel until almost junior high. So I mean, I've been on the road. That's what I've known. So then when I started doing it, but my kids were at home, I just know I couldn't do it for very long because I missed them. They were growing up too fast. And not only did I have this career that I've been working on for the last decade plus, that I need to keep that on track before I, lose the best parts I can, as far as my age, the way I'm headed with this. I didn't want that to get completely derailed, but I had to
Yeah.
do what I got to do.
Hey, I'm liking the headspace. All
What was it?
right.
What was it like getting that call from Bellator?
That was awesome. It was pretty much like I came home, I immediately started praying for offers to come in to keep me home, and I was like, all right, I saved up, I paid ahead on rent, but that I needed to take care of February's rent. So I'm like, oh, I gotta find a fight. And then all of a sudden, this end of January fight came up for Bellator, and I was like, wow, this is perfect. This is the step I've been waiting for. The it's just it worked out perfectly. Things just kind of fell into place a little too well for me. So I'm just kind of thinking about, how this has all gone on.
When was it that you knew that this is what you wanted to do? Like, because it takes a special type of dude to wake up and go, I want to get punched in the face for a living.
Yeah. You know, it was like like a dream slash fantasy when I was little, as a wrestler. My older brother kind of showed me what MMA was, and then I was like in ooh and ah of it, and it became the thing. Because when I was little, before I knew what UFC was, it was blood sport. Van Damme was my guy, and
Yeah.
blood sport.
Kubo
I
stick.
grew up like, yeah, like wearing my little sweatpants and my tucked in socks and doing handstands all over, trying to be like Van Damme. And I'm like, I'm gonna fight in the Kumite when I get older. And so little
Hey.
did I know, how that was gonna end up. But yeah, I started training. My older brother showed me what it was about, and I found a gym, started training in it. And then when I had kids, halfway through my career, it got real for me as far as like, wow, now I have something to honestly fight for and push myself for, because like you can only go so far doing things for yourself. So I have my wife and kids, and the life that I intend to give them through this, it makes me bust my ass and make sure that I make this happen, because, you know, if it's not this, then like I said, welding's the other fallback, and I ain't trying to do that for the rest of my life.
Do you have any fighters then, or any specific style that you like to try to cater your style to at all?
Yeah, there's guys that I look after, or that I look at and try to add some of that flavor into my game. You know, so like a big name is Michael Chandler. You know, I like to have a lot of level changes, a lot of nice, crisp boxing with solid wrestling. You know, that's how I want to be. You know, is like that. So guys like that, boxers in MMA like Chad Mendez. You know, I want to have, you know, that kind of explosiveness and power, speed. So those are the type of styles I like. You know, I like fast, hard hooks and uppercuts, rough, you know, like slams. So takedowns, powerful takedowns, and just dominating on the ground, you know, Khabib style, you know, just smother them out. You know, I love to drown and break people on the ground. It's a very satisfying victory. I don't look for submissions. I look to, you know, beat you up. You know, I just want to beat you up.
And that's good to hear too, because I know a handful of wrestlers, the first thing they'll do is they try to get you and go straight for the submission. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like to. I mean, I'll take it if it's there, and if, you know, the time's right or something. If it happens, it happens. But I'm not, you know, it ain't like a couple steps ahead. I'm looking to set something up for that. I ain't doing that. You know, I'm just working, dude. I'm a grinder. Like, but it's gonna look good. You know, I don't grind sloppy. I don't have sloppy technique. You know, I
Yeah.
have good, solid base wrestling. I got, you know, I'm very explosive. I'm great on the scramble. I swing. I can take the shots. You know, so I'm just excited to put the show on. Win or lose, I'm gonna be a crowd favorite. I believe.
Heck yeah. So
That's how Buddy
you fight.
fights. Buddy's the only fighter I know that broke his hand in a fight and was excited about it.
Right? Yeah. No, and that I was pumped too after, because after that bare knuckle fight, I had this knuckle here. It's not there anymore. It's down. It's down here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that looks totally weird, don't it? You know, so
It's not existent.
like, peace, brother.
It looks like it hurts.
Yeah. And so, you know, and then it's solid now. It don't affect me, but it just, you know, we love those scars of battle. They're trophies.
Exactly. Yeah, you get to wear it like a badge of honor. I always tell people
They
after a
are.
fight,
Yeah.
like, oh, look, somebody gave me some makeup with their fists.
Yep, exactly.
Dude.
So, how far out ants do you head out? I think it's in Arizona, if I remember correctly, for the fights. You just go out a day or two ahead of time, or do you like to get out there like a week early? What do you like to do?
That's all on their schedule. So they plan on having me out there Tuesday of fight week. They're gonna fly me out, and my corners will be right behind me. I don't think any of them, but one of them's coming the same time I am, but then the other two will be there as well. But they're flying us in. I'll be there Tuesday, you know, and that'll have me kind of get the space I need to finalize my headspace, my weight cut, just get things lined up nutritionally for after weigh-ins, and just get everything lined up. Find the spots in town that I'm going to be going to as far as grocery stores or fitness centers, anything like that, to get a last, you know, few workouts in. So I like getting there early, and if it was on me, I would probably show up a couple days early, but they book the flight, so they tell me when I need to be there. So,
And if you fight at 145, what's your walk around weight, if I may ask? Because I'm curious of how much you have to usually cut.
well, it's depends on if I'm here at home, I stay around 60 to 63. But if I'm on the road and I hit them Coors after work every day, I get up to about 68.
Fair enough.
So maybe even 70. There was one time I had a fight. I had to cut down to 35. I had like borderline health complications that was miserable. I will never probably be at 35 again. But after that, I ballooned up to 78, and it was the fattest I've ever been, like just completely bloated. My like ankles were swollen, my knees were swollen, like it was disgusting. So like I realized to make sure that I don't go hog wild after fights anymore. So it's important to stay pretty even when you get done. You can have a splurge afterwards. I say make it about a week and then get back to business. But yeah, I usually walk around 65, 68 lately.
Okay. Yeah, I try to cut with that. I'm trying to fight at 150 now, maybe go to 145 when I walk around, like 158, 160.
Yeah.
But, my diet's the hardest thing. I'll train, and sometimes it's like, oh, that pizza looks good. Oh,
I know. Yeah, and what I find out is what keeps me motivated from staying away from that kind of stuff is like say like that pre-training carbs you get or something. When it's a really clean, awesome, source, you can feel the energy difference. And so that's what keeps me motivated to eating healthy. So I just I eat right and take a lot of ice baths and saunas and stuff because like I feel like I train so much and at the intensity that it's required almost on a daily basis. You get to this level and you got to keep doing those things for your body to keep on keeping on. So the health and the food aspect of it is huge.
Absolutely. I mean, I know like my favorite, those wind sprints, the quick explosive boom, boom. So I know.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on, I'm just locating a charger here. I'm about to die in a minute.
Oops. Do you have a favorite workout or something? Because like I said, I like my wind sprints. Jogging is nice, but like for the explosiveness for fights, I like to keep them at 40 to 80-yard dashes, just straight to the point. So I know that in the fight, when I'm reaching my point, I know I can keep pushing, keep pushing. Do you have a specific workout or anything you like to do personally?
I do enjoy and get a lot of benefit out of those high intensity interval training workouts, HIIT workouts.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like they got to be like fighter style and a bit more like challenging, because I know like say some HIIT classes you'll have at a gym or something, and you have average people there doing it, getting good workouts in. But my trainer would always tweak the workouts for me in a fighter aspect, So high intensity or HIIT training, MMA style is one of my favorite ways to go. Knowing I don't like running. I mean, I do it, and lately I just found a program. It's the U.S. men's boxing, their Olympic running workout. It's like an interval based workout, but right now with the snow here, we have so much of it. The tracks outside are not, usable at the moment. So I just been getting like long distance, on the treadmill, things like that. But it's I found out that was really, really beneficial too. That interval training with workouts that you would do, like say one day was a long distance run, your next day was like a 200 meters, 400s, a 600 and a 400, and then a mile cool down. And you like it's like a 16-day program. I don't want to get too much into it because it's kind of like going to be a secret weapon of mine for shape. But it's intense, it's super scientific, and it works. And that's just the running part of it. But I have so much other training, like that I do. I love just the fight training we do. Our open mat grappling, like that's a killer workout because you just go there. Yeah, you don't have to go through all the technique for an hour and a half or 2 hours. You just get to just roll and get sweaty, get rounds and rounds in.
Thank you.
How do you feel about sparring? I know that a lot of fighters go back and forth on if they do a lot of sparring or some guys don't do any sparring anymore. How do you feel about sparring, and how do you go about that? Is it wars in the gym or is it more controlled?
So I'm a fan of sparring and a fan of hard sparring when the time's right. Because I found out, there's people do it differently. We had a kind of an era of our fight team early on where I felt like all we did was spar, spar hard. And then it became into like, all right, let's do this once or twice a week this hard, and let's use headgear now, things like that. And then I went and trained with the boxing club in Washington, getting ready for the BKFC fight because I was working, and looked up a boxing club, started training with them, and the amount they spar is a lot more than what like an MMA fighter would be sparring. Boxers spar a lot, and I like that because it keeps. I didn't ever feel like it was too much for me. I didn't ever feel like I was, hit too much or.
That me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay, good. You good, Josh? Oh, dang it.
Buddy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. That's weird.
Okay, yeah. I guess Josh had some technical difficulties again because he just disappeared off the screen altogether. So, but that's what happens in the live world of entertainment.
Right? Yeah, I remember seeing some of those.
So let's get back to
fight
the
videos. Were what?
There we go. I don't know. I think that might have been on my end. I don't know if it's when I get a call coming in, like all the things went black, but
Probably, yeah.
no worries. That's what happens on the world of internet.
yeah.
And so you were saying with sparring, how you don't mind, like the hard sparring versus the soft sparring. And one of the things I brought up to a few of the fighters I fight with is like how GSP says the hard sparring is necessary to teach you reaction time, to teach you what to do. But how he enjoys a little bit of the soft sparring because then he's more willing to try some of those moves that he's been working on or something that he doesn't feel fully comfortable with. Because that way, instead of making sure you defend, you're more willing to be able to try those. Do you feel like you try different tricks or try different moves, I should say? I don't know why tricks, but or do you have like staples that you like to stick to and you just kind of stick to those?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. As far as like when you spar, when you do more light sparring, you do get to work some of the stuff that you don't have just like stapled into your game. When I'm sparring hard, I'm sticking to what I know and I'm working on my strengths, until I am able to, through lighter sparring and say like we do a lot of back and forth combo for combo, and it's not super hard. It's more drill. And then say we'll do light sparring with MMA gloves on, but the speed's there, but the collision's not there so much. And we do a lot of that because you get to see different reactions from other people on different setups and footworks and things like that. You get to practice and put a lot of thought into what you're about to do so you can practice the technique that you may have either learned that day or earlier that week or something that you're just trying to get better at. So there's a time and place for light sparring, for hard sparring, everything.
Absolutely.
Well, Josh, I want to thank you so much for giving us some of your time today. We are so excited to watch you fight. I definitely watch every promotion I can find. So I definitely always watch Bellator, One, UFC, so you'll definitely have a fan in me checking you out and cheering for you coming up on your Bellator 273.
Awesome, I'm getting that pay-per-view.
Yes, thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure to be here. And yeah, we got another Montana boy coming up, about to shake the game, man. I'm gonna
good luck, man. I might have to one day send you as well merch. This is my brand. Part of the reason why I fight is promoting all my stuff. And so yeah, I might have to hook you up with something. You never know.
Heck yeah, dude. Let me know, man. Hit me up, man. I'd be more than happy to work with you on anything. So
Appreciate that.
Yeah. No
All
problem.
right, Josh. Thank
All right,
you
guys.
so much.
Peace out.
Yes. Thank
Have a
you.
great
Have a
day.
good day. Yeah.
Heck yeah, that was awesome. Awesome,
All right,
dude.
buddy. Yeah, I love that guy. Little rough first technical difficulties, but we made it through. And on the first episode with a first interview ain't bad. So what'd you think about him, man? I'm cheering for that guy. I'm excited to watch Josh fight.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely cheering. He wasn't like a handful of fighters, you know, where it's like, all right, fine, I'm gonna knock everyone out, blah blah blah. He's, you know, very like he's a family man. He has a good head on his shoulders. Like he said, nothing's given, it's earned, and I love that mentality, that respect all the way. And I stick by what I said. I think he's gonna personally take this after being in a bare knuckle fight, getting hit by those pure hands. I mean, gloves feel so much nicer. I don't think he's gonna get knocked. I think he's either gonna win it before the full rounds, or it's going to go the distance, and he's going to take it by judge's decision.
Yeah, and I watched the fights I could find of his online, and he is a tough dude, man. He's got heavy hands, good takedowns, good ground and pound. So I'm really excited to watch him fight and see where this goes for him. And it's always nice, like, you get more attached to him. Now, I just had a conversation with the guy, so now when I watch him fight, I'm like, well, he's a good dude, man. I want him to go out there and win. You know, it gives you a little more skin in the game when you kind of have a good conversation with a guy like that.
Oh yeah, and, you know, it's you root, especially when he said, you know, he fights for his, you know, his wife, his kids, this and that. You really want to, like, you're not just doing this to try to go beat some people up or be a bully. You're really doing this. So yeah, I hope he goes all the way.
Yeah, and he's on a monster card, like we already talked about. Bader defending his heavyweight title. The legend Benson Henderson is fighting Islam Mandov, and Islam's a tough guy, submission fighter with knockout power. Benson Henderson's a fucking legend, man. I mean, UFC champ. I remember when he beat Edgar to win that belt. He beat up Nate Diaz. I mean, Benson Henderson's a monster.
And it's crazy because, I mean, with Bellator, you see some of these fighters where it's like you have a handful of up-and-comers who were too good for the amateur circuit, so now they're coming into a new level. And you got people that have been just straight professional that are coming in and whooping people's asses too. And it's like you said, some of these monsters in here. This is a good card because I've seen some Bellator cards where it's like I don't really know too many people, but I mean, here you don't just have big names, but you have people training under big names. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to go.
Well, yeah, because even Josh's opponent fights under Team Machida. So
I saw that. I was like, all right. What was it? Almeida fights under Machida, and he's got that karate style. I'm very curious to see, because what was it? Because Josh was saying how he'll take a kick, he'll take whatever. And if that dude's karate, he's got his kicks, and Josh can eat him. I mean, what are you gonna do when your best weapon doesn't work against you?
No, and I didn't know who Aiden Lee was. He's an English fighter. I guess he's a submission fighter. But when I seen Henry Corrales on this, I was like, this dude used to be a 2-division champ, king of the cage. This dude, I mean, he's one of those featherweights that just flies around, you know, like those fast featherweights that never stop moving. Exactly. When I looked at this card, I saw about 5 names right off the bat where I was like, man, he is on a stacked card, and this is going to be great for him to get some eyes on him. If he goes out there and performs, this sky's the limit for him.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And it's like he said, if he does a first, second round finish, ground and pound something, like you said, well, there's already going to be so many eyes on there. I mean, who's to say, you know, a big sponsorship's not going to reach out, or he's not going to be asked to be on a different fight card or this and that. I mean, sheesh. I mean, and yeah, he was on bare knuckle, and that's a handful. I'm trying to think of the dude's name. He was in the UFC. I don't know why I'm spacing on his name. Dang it. He was on the Tough House. I just remember he got real drunk, started crying, trying to fight everybody.
Oh, shit, what's his name? Let me bang, bro. Let me bang.
Yes.
I remember his name. Yes, bare knuckle. His name's slipping me, but I'll never forget the let me bang, bro.
That's so crazy. So I mean, yeah, who's to say, you know, he's not gonna get an invitation to go somewhere else? Might not be the UFC right away, but maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And I know there's a lot of other fight leagues too. So sheesh. There's a guy from Street Beefs who actually used to fight for Street Beefs. This guy, Tony Sanders. He was called like the Red Reaper, and he ended up. I saw him, and he's on a UFC Mexico undercard, and I was just like,
Okay.
dang.
Well, Bare Knuckles doing a lot with those guys too. I see Diego Sanchez is coming in. Somebody posted something that they're trying to talk to Cody No Love Garbrandt, but they already have some homegrown big personalities in like Bobo. That guy's electric on social media. So Bare Knuckles doing their thing too. I know people don't always love the fights they schedule or whatever where they get online, but it seems like people are still watching, so they must be doing something right.
Right, exactly. It's like, yeah, those featherweights and whatever flyweights, they're going so fast, they don't stop. But then you go to the heavyweights, and that's when you hear those connects on the TV. Dang!
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Bare
I couldn't
Knuckles.
imagine that. I found the street
Bare
enough when I was
Knuckles.
younger. I like the gloves, and I like having gloves and a mouth guard. I'm good with that.
Well, that's like I always joked, and I said it earlier. I can 90s fight. I can't 2021 fight. Like I grew up fighting in high school, but fighting's changed. Motherfuckers grow up in gyms now and training, and like you gotta be careful talking shit at a gas station. You ended up like in a rear naked choke or some shit.
Right, exactly. The one thing I won't forget too is though, like right when those early 2000s, when all of a sudden half of everybody everybody had a tap out shirt. It's like, what, bro? What's up, bro? And I was like, oh, okay, maybe a portion that you actually train.
Yeah, that.
Well,
Then
you're right. I
it
mean,
went
this
to
day and age.
Affliction.
Oh, affliction. Yeah. Well, yeah. Nowadays, I mean, because not with people trying to do CrossFit, this and that, and now they're trying to go to gyms and do MMA, learn submissions, and I see a lot of people getting into jujitsu, even especially like, well, I don't want to get punched in the face, but I'll go do jujitsu here and there. So I mean, a lot of people have at least one discipline now. When you're in public, it's different. Versus, yeah, in the '90s, you go out. I mean, some guy might be a gym rat, but nobody's actually going to the boxing gym. No one's actually going to train MMA.
Right.
So it's all just whatever it was.
Well, let's move on to something that's actually close to both of our hearts. Let's talk some street beef scrapyard and what's coming up on there. And I know you got a list of what's going on coming up with the scrapyard.
Yeah, we got some killer ones. So the one I'm really excited for is actually the Terrifier. He's our fighter for the Scrapyard. He's fighting Disturbing the Peace from the West Coast, and he was supposed to have a title fight against this dude called Morningstar, who was going to change his name to Supernova. And in his last fight, said he was only going 30% against his opponent, even though it was a back and forth fight. He just, day of the fight, no call. He just told him, I'm not going to fight. I got in trouble with my gym. I can't make it out. Day of the title fight. So the Terrifier has been waiting to have a good opponent. And, some people stepped in there, but I think him and Disturbing the Peace is going to be a good title fight. So let's see. We got that one right there. Bam. Yeah, that's the heavyweight MMA champion fight right there. One I'm excited for is Top Knocker and the Boar. Because the Boar's had some good fights. When he came out, he was like, this is my first real fight, yada, yada. And he's been in a couple now. And Top Knocker, he's been in fights and other stuff like in the streets and whatnot when I've talked to him. But his first fight with the Scrapyard was against Jay Gotham. And it was kind of like one of those like, oh, he needs an opponent. And the Top Knocker stepped up real quick. And it was kind of like, oh, dang. And, it's different than a street fight. Yeah, that's how I felt. So that's going to be a good one, Top Knocker and the Boar. That way they've both been training. I feel like that'll be a good one to watch. We have a 145 boxing title, Lights Out and Blacksmith. The Blacksmith fought Doughboy in MMA during the MMA bracket for the 155 championship belt that I was a part of. And Lights Out, he's just been going through people. He fought that dude Yupon, who was like 30 pounds heavier than him. I did a Brazilian jiu-jitsu match with him that should probably be up shortly. I mean, this dude's down to fight almost anybody, anytime, MMA, boxing, whatever. And he's a cool guy too. Just all smiles outside. So, but he comes with a lot of haymakers, and I know Blacksmith is a little more composed, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Let's see, Golden Arms is coming up from the Street Beast West Coast. So I know that he was originally maybe gonna fight Jay Gotham, but the Canadian stepped in and he's like, I want that. So the Canadian and Golden Arms. That's boxing.
That's a good fight right there, man. That's a good fight. The Canadian and Golden Arms. That's exciting. And I always get excited just to watch Jay Gotham fight, but I got no problem with the Canadian taking that fight.
And I'm curious. I think the Canadian's last fight was against Real Lion, and like whenever you have a loss, it's never easy as a fighter because you're training, and I think he's gonna come out real hungry. And he's fought both, West Coast and Scrapyard, so I'm curious. Let's see, we got that one. So we have Crazy Hands and Scorpio. That's gonna be a boxing match. That's one that's made. I like those a lot. Crazy Hands is a killer fighter. I like Scorpio. He has a lot of determination, and I mean, I've seen him eat some punches to the jaw, not even like seam phase. So I'm really curious to see how this is. It's a boxing match. I'm serious to see how they bang. Sweet Tea versus Lil Kit, MMA. This is gonna be interesting because Sweet Tea fought the Terrifier, I believe, in an MMA match once before, and it was a good fight. I think they ran it back once because one of them won, the other one, the Terrifier, won. And Lil Kit, I saw him with a boxing match, and I think it was the Cannibal he fought or someone. He uppercutted the guy so hard he lifted him off his feet, and the guy was in midair and just. So I'm curious.
Well, let me ask you this, buddy. So with the Terrifier, I know a lot of people want to fight him, but Kenny Fugo was saying that there's a fight with the Terrifier and him in March. Do you know if that's confirmed?
Yes. That's gonna be a good fight. He's definitely been saying that's his amateur debut. I've talked to them both, and it's for sure gonna happen. I'm excited to see that because he's training hard and he's making a point. So he's gonna take Terrifier off the map and this and that. And if he brings it, Terrifier's gonna have one hell of a fight on his hands. I mean, he's a big boy, as you can tell.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if that was confirmed. I know they had both said it, but I wasn't sure where that was going from there. So I was going to ask you since we were talking about it anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm excited for that. Let's see. Yano versus Trouble, boxing. I'm having a little trouble. Trouble. I'm having a little trouble with them. I'm trying to think of some of their fights. Spacing at the moment, so I apologize to both of those guys. Castro versus Black Panther in boxing. I'm glad to see Castro back. He's had a couple heavy hits. He's a heavy hitter, I should say. And Black Panther, I think he fought Viking Warrior. And Black Panther took some serious shots. I mean, he had like a swollen eye afterwards, this and that. So with Castro being a heavy-handed, once again, it's interesting to see. One guy's more heavy-handed and one guy's got a really strong chin. So I'm very curious to see who's going to come out. Dre versus Cloverdale. I forgot if that was boxing or MMA, but I know Dre has a lot of skill. He definitely comes out hard, so I wonder if Cloverdale's going to definitely be able to keep up with him. For boxing, next time, Illuminate the State versus Dad, or like DAD. I'm interested because Illuminate the State has been improving every fight. His last fight with Gash, he put him to the ringer, hardcore. So, yeah. And then Dad has had a couple interesting fights where he's definitely been improving. I feel like they each kind of had to come into their own a little bit, but I feel like that's a very equal match. Sure, we got a couple more left. Let's see. Hands of Stone versus Stemo, MMA. I'm excited to see Stemo back in there and Hands of Stone. Both are good fighters. Stemo hits heavier than he looks, and he can definitely take some punches. He doesn't know when to quit, which is awesome. He makes him a good opponent. And then Monkey versus Nilla. Now, Monkey is doing MMA. That's going to be a fun one to watch. We were thinking about maybe doing a BJJ, me and him. I remember me and him were maybe going to do an MMA match, but originally. But I'm helping him with his Monkey MMA brand, this and that, and we're really cool with each other. And he was like, "Oh, maybe we just, is it cool if we don't fight?" And we were just like, we're cool with it. It's fine. So, and the last one. This is the interesting one.
Him just as a person. So yeah.
Exactly. And the last one I have written down was Yupon. Now, he's had some killer fights. He's the one that fought Lights Out. That was like the 30-pound weight difference. What I'm curious about is the guy he's fighting. I forgot his fight name, but there was a beef fight this past one with Polyrath and Turtle. And this guy called out Steve on Instagram and Facebook, and I got a boy that'll beat your guy Turtle. This guy whoops some ass, blah, 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 blah. Talking all this mess on Instagram. He didn't even show up to the fights. The guy in the video is the one Yupon is fighting. So I wonder if he can back up all that mess he was talking. Because, I mean, it's easy to say stuff behind the camera.
Right. Keyboard warrior. That's always easy. It's when that cage shuts behind you that it's a whole different ball game.
And so, yeah, that's a good, that's like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fights right there off the back. And we have a handful more.
Yeah.
So this is probably going to be one of the most stacked events Steve was saying that we have in a bit.
Yeah, Fire Chicken's becoming the mad scientist, the Dana White of like the street beef scrapyard. But they're coming up with some really good fights. It's really nice too because anybody who watches Scrapyard or any of the street beefs, the more and more you watch, the more and more you get to know these guys. You start to learn like their fighting style, so it becomes really exciting. And then I've been watching it for a while now that I'm like, hey, I want so-and-so to fight so-and-so. You know, like I got call-outs and shit now. So I think
Right.
Fire Chicken's doing a wonderful job up in Washington with what he's doing with you guys.
You do like a suggestion box. Like, if you want to see these guys fight, put the name in. No, he's got some stuff in the works. I know that one of the things we lucked out with is like West Coast had some troubles here and there, legal troubles. I know in California they're not able to fight this and that, and Washington and Texas are the two mutual combat states. So I know that we get to avoid a lot of like any sort of legal issue at all because there's no money involved, none of that stuff, and so it's mutual combat. Two guys enter, both are completely in agreement. So I mean, there's not really much anyone could do versus some of these other states, you know, like West Coast or whatever. I mean, if it's not necessarily legal, cops can come in. I mean, they had an event in Vegas get shut down by the cops too. So it's like, ooh.
Yeah, and it's so weird to me because I don't find the difference of a pickup basketball or a football game. As kids, we played tackle football in the fucking street on pavement.
Right?
You know, so if grown adults are, and it's a sport, and they're agreeing to compete in a sport, I don't understand the whole legal issue of it, but that's when you had people calling it human cockfighting and all that other ridiculous shit back in the early 90s.
Right. Dang. So yeah,
Well,
I mean, Steve definitely has a lot that he's doing. I like the opportunities that he offers some of these people as well. Because I mean, there's people flying out from different states again too. And I mean, shoot, maybe Josh Wright will come watch one of the events, but he's not allowed to compete. He'll whoop everyone's ass.
Isn't Kenny Fugo? Isn't he flying in from somewhere else? Isn't he like over by the Virginia area or something?
Yeah, he's flying out. I don't know exactly where he's flying out from, but yeah, that's why I'm excited to see because he keeps posting some videos, some training videos, saying he's working hard. So I mean, I hope it's going to be worth the wait.
Well, we've been talking, and so before the fight, once he knows when he's flying out and stuff, we talked about maybe getting him on the show. So that would be cool to talk to him before he actually flies out there and fights. See where his mind's at.
Kenny or Kevin Fuego, yeah.
Well, and then just to let everybody know, next week on MMA Underground, we have the Viking Warrior himself going to be a guest on the show. I've been wanting to talk to him for a while, so I'm very excited to get him on next week. I know you know him better than I do, but it'll be an exciting way to talk, or exciting guest to have on to talk.
Oh yeah, he's cool. He's down to earth. I mean, great person. One of the few people where I will say, you know, has some certain fight fundamentals drilled in him. Because like if you saw with that Scotty Showtime fight, I mean, he got hit to the ground real quick and he's climbing back up as he's getting whammed in the face left and right. You just see his head going left and he's climbing himself up and he goes right back to fight and then he comes back too. And it's like, you know, it's not everyone has that into them where it's like their base function is to fight. Not a lot of people, even fighters. When they're out, they're out. Not many people can sit there and be kind of in and out and still be able to fully function. And yeah, I'm excited to hear everything he has to say on the show. I mean, he's a belt holder. So what? He had won a boxing belt. He's won an MMA belt. I don't think he's lost a fight yet either.
And I love him and Scotty Showtime. Like I've talked to Scotty before too. Great dude. Like those two fighting though was like the perfect fight in the sense of what the Scrapyard needed at the moment. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, and it was a real beef for a minute. Like they're cool as hell. They both squashed it. They're great peeps. Much love to both of them. And I'm not saying this to stir anything. I'm just saying like there really was a beef at first. I remember at the event, 2 events before it happened, you know, Scotty had his hand in a cast or like whatever, he broke his pinky or something, and they're going at it. And I thought it was a joke. He's like, "You're ugly." And then Scotty's like, "You're ugly," and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of funny." And then they're both yelling at each other like, "F that! I'll beat you right now!" Blah blah blah. And they're at it. I was like, "Oh, this is real. Hold on a minute. What?"
But
So,
that's
I
what
mean,
makes
but
the
yeah, they both settled
Scrapyard.
it. Came up.
Yeah, it makes the Scrapyard great. They had a beef. They settled it like men. It's over. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And like, they're both cool people. I talked to both of them. They're both, nice to everybody. They're both out there, and yeah, that's all I can really say. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about anyone at the Scrapyard unless they screwed us over. One of those things where no call, no shows, and
Right. Well, there's a lot of people who want to fight. So when they give you the opportunity and you don't show up, you're taking it away from somebody else who would have traveled even to come out there to be a part of that because they want to compete in the Scrapyard. So when they don't show up, it screws not only them, but everybody else involved.
oh yeah, I mean, it's happened to so many different fighters that you like the Terrifier. I mean, he has this fight and he's excited, and the event's starting, and then Fire Chick gets a text, "Oh, I'm not gonna come fight the Terrifier." Like, he's warmed up and waiting already. You tell us this right now. You could have. So that's weird. It happened to me during the MMA tournament bracket. There was the dude that I was supposed to fight first round, and like I got a message or two from a couple of his friends. "You're gonna get your ass whooped, this and that, and I hope you're ready to lose." And no dude never showed up. They never messaged me back. I was like, okay, whatever.
Well, when's your
But yeah,
next
that event
fight,
I didn't
buddy?
get
Do
a
you
fight.
know yet?
You say what?
Do you know when your next fight is?
Yeah, it's this January. Yeah, I'm so excited. I want to do MMA. If I can't get a match, I'll do boxing. But I mean, I'm really down for whoever my opponent is. I like the style of having a fight set up beforehand and knowing your opponent. But I also like the smoker style. So then that way, it's like you show up and you don't know. You're just trained and you're ready to go. So no matter who it is, I really am a fighter. I'll fight, someone 10 pounds heavier, 10 pounds lighter, whatever. And yeah.
Well, I'm going to start an internet beef with a 40-year-old overweight podcaster so I can fly out and have a boxing match against another podcaster in the Scrapyard. But
Do it. My uncle always joked. He's like, "Well, if you had a league for overweight alcoholics where you could go in for 1 minute round, slug it out, and be done with it because you're out of shape, I'll do it."
That would be my league. Yep, that would be my league. So, buddy, tell everybody about your brand before we get out of here.
My brand, let's see as well. Yeah, I actually have some new stuff underway. I'm kind of bummed I don't have it right now, but I have my own sweat line now, clothing as well, my hats. I make my own merch. I do it as part of what Zwell is it's showing people you could really do whatever it is you want. I mean, a couple years ago, I was drinking nonstop, doing whatever, and I was just, I'm done with it. This is my life. I do what I want. I created my brand. I make my merch. I draw everything myself. All the stuff on my sweats, any logos I have, my Jaguar, I drew that myself. And part of that is, who's going to tell me no? The worst thing that's going to happen, I'm getting punched in the face. So I go out in that cage and I fight and I get punched in the face and I get back up every single day because it's not going to kill me. And whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Every day I work harder at whatever it is, being a better person, being a better man, being a better father, being a better significant other. I mean, fighting really does help everything that I do, and it helps me promote my brand. So when I look at my brand, Zuel, and I see people come out like, "Oh yeah, I seen your fight. I saw Zuel. Oh yeah, I bought one of your shirts. I'm rocking it right now." It really motivates me to keep going because I mean, I'm no different than anyone watching this. I'm no different from anyone. I bleed the same. I could wake up the same. I could die the same. There's no difference. So I'm gonna make the most of my life the way as anyone else can. And fighting's not for everybody. I mean, there's people who, my brother, he's not a fighter, but he's killer at IT stuff. So go out and do the fucking computer stuff. Do it to the best of your ability. I'm athletic. I'm going to fight to the best of my ability. I may not always win, but I'm fighting for what I want to do. I'm fighting for what I love. And that's what Zwell is. Zwell is for you to go out and do whatever it is that you want and take nothing from nobody. You take what you want. So, sorry, I get a little passionate.
No, that's BC. That's part of the reason we love you. And then I know if Maddie was here, he would second this. I want to thank you so much. When we reached out to you and asked if you wanted to be part of the team and do this MMA Underground live, you jumped on it right away. And we just thank you so much for being a part of this with us now.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to tell everyone. Yeah, because I don't just fight. I got the part as well as I'm doing those, what the hell am I spacing? Not tournaments, but like, like Tough Mudder, Spartan races, all those. I'll be making sure all those people that love that, I'm gonna spread the Yankee and the Brit too. But yeah, part as well. Who's gonna stop me? No one. No, the opportunity is great. Thank you both very, very much. I was a fan. I watch it. Not all of the NFL stuff, most of it, but I definitely share it with some people. My mom likes it because she's got her own fantasy football league, so she's definitely loving it a lot.
No, and we appreciate you. When Maddie gets back next week, the three of us will be rocking this together. Rest up, Maddie. We hope you feel better. We know you got COVID and it's beating your ass right now.
Please,
and
Maddie.
If you're not watching, you're kind of an asshole because you're part of the show, so you better be watching. I did see he commented earlier in the middle of it, so I know he was watching. Before we get out of here, though, I do want to shout out Heart in the Fight. They do so much good stuff for the fighters. It was great what they did with the awards. I felt so blessed that they reached out to Yankee and the Brit to vote on this kind of stuff. I was supposed to be on, and every time I got on, my internet was worse than Josh's, and I got knocked off. So I didn't get to be on there, but I wanted to thank them for making us feel more a part of the community. I was really honored when they reached out and said, hey, you want to be one of the content creators that we're going to ask to help judge this, because they did it in such a way that it was fans, it was fighters, it was content creators. And then they handed out the awards. I just thought it was great. And I love what they do. And then another shout out to Overtime Hustlin' Magazine. They do a ton for Street Beefs, but they've been nothing but great to us at Yankee and the Brit also. So a shout out to them. And you guys, make sure you watch Heart Fight, Turf Tales. Watch Cuzzo's reactions, man. That dude is awesome, winging it. Anything else I'm forgetting, sorry, but I wanted to shout those people out because they've been such great supporters of us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I actually have this drawing I'm almost done with for them. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but no, I've been working on something secret for him and for like a Zoel Overtime Hustling thing, and I'm probably gonna send it to him next week. Some things got caught up, so I got pushed a little behind, but ooh, it looks so good.
Oh, shout out Peixoto too. I don't want to forget.
Yeah, Team Peixoto.
Shout out, because all these people do great things, not only for each other, but for the community. And I love watching Len B get out there and do what he does. Him and Jay Gotham have done some great stuff together. So, yeah, just shout out to you guys for what you do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Len B, he's gave me a couple tips for when my very first t-shirt that did not look like this came out. He saw what I was doing, and then he continued seeing, and he's giving me some advice. And so I appreciate all that. Yeah, everyone's a Scrapyard. They're all here to help each other out.
All right, guys. Well, we made it through our first show. We had some technical difficulties, but we'll be back next week with the Viking Warrior. So one world, one love. Deuces.
Heck yeah.